Hello.
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 Hello, and welcome to the show, everybody. It's episode 2 of the Press Box Quartet. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you all for tuning to episode 1. If you listened, thank you for listening. If you haven't, go check it out. You know, it's a really good episode. We kind of got our feet in the water, off and running, and we're thankful for you all tuning in here to episode 2. I'm Jonah, and we got Joseph, Colin, and Steven here in the podcast. And guys, thought episode 1 was pretty good. Just touch a little bit kind of on ourselves, you know, just felt like just get personal with our audience, you know. I'm Jonah, just basically, you know, and I'm a broadcaster and friends with you guys, RSN at Franklin Pierce University. So kind of just running through the order, you know.
Yeah, I'm Joseph, but most people call me Joe. Also a broadcaster at Franklin Pierce University, a year younger than these three. Graduated this past year. But working with Raven Sports Network for 4 years, and a ton of fun there. But also have a couple years of experience in the Cape Cod Baseball League as a lead beat reporter and a camera operator. Got to cover a lot of Division I All-Star baseball players and even the MLB draft down there, which is super fun. But yeah, super fun time and excited to be a part of this.
Yeah, excited to be a part of this journey. I mean, this one thing we didn't really touch upon in the first episode, like who we are and kind of what we do, but excited to kind of whip around here. Colin, Struckman, glad to be a part of this journey with you guys. Had a lot of fun the first episode, and excited to see where this takes off, and had a really solid 4 years of Raven Sports Network experience with all you guys.
Yep, I mean, just like everyone said, Franklin Pierce University, once a Raven, always a Raven. We were all NE10 broadcasters for 4 years along with, and I was lucky enough to be part of the Legacy Leagues where I got to be there on their podcast and be a camera operator, do their athletics department. It was a great time.
And it's just been awesome to get to know you guys over the past 4 years, 3 years with Joe, but even now going into this podcast and going to the future is all of us alumni now. Congratulations, Joe, recently.
Nice.
But
I joined the club finally.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
What was the Latin ex umbris?
Ad lucem.
See, perfect.
From the shadows to the light. I remember
He's
it
got it,
vividly. This is just a random aside that no one asked for. I just remember orientation with Dr. Kim Mooney being the president.
Mm-hmm.
She just said it like ex umbris ad lucem, from the shadows to the light. And I don't know why I just remember that to this day. But if anyone's wondering, that's like the Latin, I guess, slogan. I don't know if there's a proper name for that. That's not coming to my brain right now. But that's the Latin slogan of Franklin Pierce University. That's a random trivia question that you can answer at any bar room that ever has that question. But, I don't know why I remember that.
You're telling me you can name the Latin slogan of Franklin Pierce, but you can't tell me who Nico Collins is?
That's terrible.
Oh, yeah. About that. Look, not my proudest moment. But here's the thing. I'm never going to forget his name ever again. I'm never going to forget it. So that was crazy.
And Joe, for remembering that, you get 3 points to start the podcast.
Nice.
But anyway, so we're just going to kind of touch up this episode. We're going to touch up on our early predictions for the Stanley Cup and the NBA Finals. A lot has changed since our first episode was released. A lot has really happened. Then we're also going to talk a little bit briefly about the World Cup. It starts as a recording of this episode here on June 11th on Thursday. Can't remember what day it was. Thursday. And and then obviously at the end we'll do our little trivia game. Whoever wins the trivia game will be the next host for episode 3. Ooh. All right. So kind of the big talking point, I think it's been a lot of the news, was the last game of the NBA Finals. The Spurs, unbelievable first half, NBA record. I think it was 14 3-pointers, if I'm correct, in the first half. Unbelievable 25-plus point lead. But then the Knicks, able to storm their way back, take a 3-1 series lead. And guys, I remember I saw this morning ESPN, there was 10 minutes and 10 seconds left in the fourth quarter. The Spurs had a 99.6% chance to win that game. It was just unbelievable. But just kind of want to hear your thoughts on just so far this series so far between the Spurs and the Knicks.
I think I'm just going to rip the Band-Aid off. Like, I love De'Aaron Fox. I really do. I think that is on like the verge of like that is probably worse than J.R. Smith's free throw in 2018, I believe it was in Golden State. And the only reason why I think it's worse than that was because JR didn't lose the game. The game just went into overtime. There was still, a chance for the Cavs to win it, which they didn't. But I mean, De'Aaron Fox, like you've been in the league for 9 years. 9 years. You should know. You should be the only person on that court that should know when there's no shot clock, you hang on to the ball. All you had to do is do a loop-de-loop around the baseline, and you would have gotten fouled. But I can't put all the blame on Fox because, the Spurs did let up that massive comeback. Wemby missed 2 free throws right before that. It's just, kind of like the recipe for disaster of NBA teams now. It's like, oh, you're down by a lot of points. Let's just chuck up a bunch of threes. It's how the Celtics got eliminated. It's how the Cavs got eliminated. It's how a lot of the teams got eliminated. When you're down and chasing points, you just chuck up threes. And when you're in a league now where that's so common for positions 1 through 5 to just shoot threes like nothing, that's what you're going to result to. Which is why I think the Knicks were the better team yesterday because they didn't take many threes. They went downhill. They drove to the cup. Jalen Brunson had some of the most ridiculous floaters I've ever seen in my life. Like over Wemby's 7'4" body. It was unbelievable.
He did have some really nice touch inside, dude. I saw a couple, like I watched definitely the highlights this morning too, even, and just unbelievable. His touch around the rim is just unbelievable.
Yeah, it is. And I hate to admit it because I just saying anything good about any New York team makes me throw up in my mouth a little bit. I'm not a fan. I can't do this anymore.
Yeah, it wasn't just Brunson though. It was OG Anunoby. What a game! I was listening to the Dan Patrick show earlier today, and he was like, if the Knicks win this series, he should be the MVP. Anunoby, just from his contributions to the series, and obviously getting the game winner. Which, by the way, in every New York bar room, that is going to be a picture that will last forever. It was like unbelievable. But going off of your point, Steve, there, yeah, that's just a brutal decision-making decision there for Fox at the end of the game. But really, it was just the Spurs the entire second half. And I think what it was, I think the blame really falls on head coach Mitch Johnson. Why are we approaching the second half up 29 points desperately? You know what I mean? Like, this is time to crunch the clock, really put the pressure on New York. But it seemed like every time the Spurs had the basketball, they're hucking up a three-pointer with 12 seconds left on the shot clock. And who gets the rebound but the Knicks? So you're giving them opportunities to come back in this game, and wouldn't you know it, they took those opportunities. And it seemed like the Knicks couldn't miss a three. And the heavy contested threes, Brunson, Cat was unbelievable. It's just a bad decision-making thing for the entire Spurs team. And just Fox is there at the end, I think, was the exclamation point of that entire second half. Because looking at the stats of it, I mean, what would we say? Like 14 three-pointers were made from the Spurs in the first half. They only made 3 of them on 17 attempts in the second half. Complete flip of the script, and it was terrible. And it looked like, to me, I was watching a desperate team trying to get points, even though they were up by almost 30. And it just, the math does not work there. So really, I think that a lot of questions on the coaching decisions made there. Why is that the plays that you're making? I don't know. I think it's a lucky thing that the Spurs have another game, and they actually have a day off going into Saturday, coming back home, because they need to hit the reset button and figure something out. Because they're not playing like themselves. They're starting to really show that they're the young, inexperienced team that everyone's saying that they are.
For me, just the momentum shift was the biggest factor to me. This series went from being 2-2, with the Spurs having all the momentum, going back to San Antonio with a chance to go up in the series. It would be a best of 3 where 2 of their games were at home. But instead, now their season's over, basically. I think this is done. There is no way they can come back from this now. I do think they could win Game 5 at home, but they are not winning Game 6 in the Garden. The Knicks have just been a remarkable team at home. And kind of echoing your earlier points, guys, I do give credit to the Knicks for making this comeback, but just the decision-making from San Antonio was just awful in the second half, where they had, I think, one of the cleanest and purest halves of basketball ever seen in the first half. Just remarkable how they were moving the ball in the paint, they were moving the ball around the perimeter, making their three-point shots. Wemby was unstoppable in the first half. I mean, the Knicks had no answer for him. Dylan Harper had a phenomenal game overall. He was especially good in the first half. And the Spurs just played a really complete first half, and they looked great. That was probably the best first half of basketball they played all year in one of their biggest games of the season. But the second half was just brutal. I mean, Joe, like you said, and Steve, like, why are you pucking up three-pointers when you have a comfortable lead? Give it down low. I know I'm a casual NBA fan, but when you have the tallest player in the league, the face of the NBA, Victor Wembanyama, who at his peak is probably the most dominant player right now in the NBA, just with how special he is, give it to him in the paint. Pound it down low. No one's going to stop him. He's, 7'4", 7'5", and Karl Anthony Towns was in foul trouble.
Yep.
Why are you taking these three-pointers when you could just give it to Wemby down low? Let him go to work. Let Mitchell Robinson get fouled. Let Cat get fouled. And if he is double-teamed, doesn't have an answer, spin it back out to Castle or Harper, and they'll have an open shot. And they were shooting the ball pretty well earlier in the ball game. But for me, it's just, how did the Spurs approach that second half the way they did? And they just botched that game. And they looked completely lost. Even when it was an 11-point game, it felt like it was over. The Knicks are coming back. Like, there is no slowing down this train. And congrats to the Knicks. First final in over 50 years, and they're the NBA champs.
Yeah.
I'm going to actually... Oh, you got it, John.
No, Steve,
My bad.
I mean,
you're the host,
You
dude.
looked like
You're
you
the
had
host.
a point. No, you go ahead. You looked like you had a point ready to go.
I insist. Thank you. So I kind of going to go back on what you said, Colin, of just, it's over for the Spurs. I think this is kind of another case in the NBA Finals where the better team is not winning. I truly do think that. It kind of reminds me back to the Warriors-Celtics in 22. The Celtics were such a better roster than the Warriors that
Spurs
year.
have had the lead with 2 minutes to go in.
Yeah.
Is it every game now?
Pretty much.
Every game, yeah.
And that just goes right to your point, Steve.
Yeah. Like, it's just a lack of experience. Think about this, right? Let's go back to game one. Stephon Castle, with, 10 seconds left on the clock, doesn't look back at Wemby. The ball goes right off his back. Brunson goes to the free throw line, wins the game. Game two, just again, chucking up the threes. You're panicking. The lights are bright. You're nervous. You got Spike Lee watching you from the corner, which, by the way, there was one play where Spike Lee was, I swear, on the left wing. If that is anybody else...
Oh, he was on the court like 10 times
else,
last
that's
night.
like a lifetime ban. Like, they're gone. Like, they're absolutely gone.
He's the sixth man. He really is.
He really is the sixth man for the Knicks.
Video bomb.
First of all,
You better leave Reggie alone.
he was barely.
Hold it! Hold it!
Yes.
Give him the trophy. Just give it to
I
him.
wouldn't be surprised if he stormed the court if they win the finals. Just like the Larry O'Brien
Yeah.
trophy's just in his hand.
It's just going to be him.
Oh, my God.
Finals MVP is going to be Spike Lee. So he's just going to be on the stage
I don't
holding this
know
trophy.
what the Knicks did to get all this voodoo dark magic, but it is just insane how much luck that this basketball team is having. I do think they have a complete roster. They're a very good team. But wouldn't you guys say, like, how do they just have this sort of voodoo magic working their way? It's truly something how they've been able to win some of these basketball games.
It might
I will
seem
say-
like, to me, the voodoo magic, it might seem like it to me, but it's, for me as well, this team, from what I've seen watching them, they're very poised in every moment of the game. They're very resilient, right? They go down 29 going into the half. Most people wanted to turn off the TV. It was over. All right,
I was
2-2,
going
we're
to.
going to San Antonio.
Glad
That's
I
what it
watched
looked
the
like.
end of the game.
Right. But, Jalen Brunson after the game, they're asking him, what were you thinking? It's like, well, you got to be honest about the situation. Yeah, we're down 29. You can look at the scoreboard, and that tells you that. But the way that they took it in bits, let's get 8 points in a row here. Chip it away. Let's make it a 20-point lead for them. All right, let's make it a 15-point lead, a 10-point lead. They took steps and took advantage of mistakes and focused on what was in front of them. And then San Antonio, I think they just took the foot off the gas. They had the best first half they've ever had all season. And they said, okay, our job here's done. Yeah, I think that's what it was. So, yeah, there might be a little voodoo magic that's happening. Maybe Frank Sinatra's New York. New York's playing somewhere in New York. And maybe that's, some news is being spread that the Knicks are a good team. Who knows? But I think it's just the resilience of that complete roster that you were talking about, Colin. The experience that Steve was talking about, it's starting to show. And, yeah, the Spurs are the better team on paper every single game that they will play. Right now, Game 5, the Spurs are favored by 5.5 points to win that game. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Knicks close it out because they're such a resilient group and you can't count them out until there's nothing left in the fourth quarter.
I think the Knicks are going to lose the next game just to win it at home in Game 6.
Yeah.
I think they're going to do exactly what the Celtics did in 24. I mean, did the Celtics lose that on purpose? I mean, it hasn't been said clearly, but I think we all know deep down that, yeah, they wanted to win.
Yeah, they lost by
home.
like 40, didn't they?
Dude, it was bad.
Yeah.
It was bad. It was not good.
Joe, going back to your point with just the inexperience, I mean, it really is starting to show for the Spurs, and unfortunately, it is definitely showing for Wemby, who had all the confidence in the first half. He was just dominant. Going to work, he was getting to his left hook, his right hook so easily. Second half completely shut down. 2 of the biggest free throws in the game, late in the game, 0 for 2. When the Spurs needed him the most at the line, he vanished.
Yep.
And this team, I do think they have a bright future. I think Castle is going to be a wrecking ball in this league for a long time. So is Dylan Harper. I'm a huge fan of him.
Yep.
I think he's going to be a really, really good player for a long time. Wemby already is a superstar. He will be for the rest of his career. And I do think they will win a championship eventually. It will not be this year. But this will be a growing pain for them. They're going to learn from this experience. But, I mean, we talked about De'Aaron Fox. He's supposed to be one of the leaders. He's been in the league for 9 years. He's been around the block before. He should be used to this moment, and he should know to dribble out the clock when he has the ball on a fast break and he's got OG Anunoby back on his shoulder who's ready to block the shot to peel off and dribble that clock out. And if he does, then we're having a much different conversation right now, and the series is tied 2-2.
Yeah, I mean, love these points, and even now, seems like the Knicks, they can definitely clutch this. I know a lot of our predictions, I think, Colin, you were a Knicks prediction, correct?
I had the Knicks in 7. I do not think it's going 7 now.
Yeah.
But it seems like I'll agree with Steve earlier. I do think the Spurs will take Game 5 at home, and then the Knicks wrap it up in 6 at MSG. And, I mean, God bless for anyone living in New York that night. I truly feel bad for the NYPD that night.
It's going to be unbelievable.
It was unreal last night.
It's going to be bad
It's going to be crazy if they
like
win
win
it
or
in New York.
lose.
Yes.
Especially
Agreed.
if they win.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, what makes it now a clear point is my brother actually brought this up to me, and I thought it was a really good question. Is this game kind of, you think, is it a historically great comeback by the Knicks, or is it historically an all-time collapse by the Spurs? Just your thoughts on that quick question.
Collapse. I think, I'm not going to, again, I think it's like a 60-40. It's a great comeback by the Knicks, obviously. So I'm going to give that, you still at the end of the day have to make the shots, consistently go on these runs, stop them defensively. I'll give them that. But if you are up 30, right, going into that locker room, you should be time is your friend. Utilize the entire shot clock. Get it. You have, like Colin, you said it earlier, you have Wemby. Why are you not utilizing his height?
I truly don't get it.
I don't understand it.
Do not get it.
Yeah.
That makes me think if I was that tall, I think I would be like a back-to-back MVP right now. If I was 7'4", I would have the Spurs up 3-0. I
were a
would
clean sweep
not
already.
shoot a three. You're right. I would have my Larry O'Brien behind me.
Yeah. What have
I
happened
would,
now?
like-
4 games in. Yeah.
Like Shaq, like let's say Shaq, for example, right? Now, obviously, Shaq can't shoot. Like, we know that. But he still averaged, like, below 30 a game just by shooting right by the basket. I think
Well-
Wemby could do that same thing.
What you mean by shooting? I think you mean dunking the basketball, but
You're right. But, I mean, he's got some layup package.
yeah, he's got some hook moves,
He's got some package.
Yeah, he was dominant in the paint. I think a lot of people,
Yeah.
some people are saying right now, like, I was watching a little bit of ESPN just to see what they were thinking, and, you know, they're bringing up, like, yeah, he's tall, but he's, like, not muscular. He's not built.
Fair.
So, like, Shaquille O'Neal is tall, but he's also massive, and if he's in the paint,
Yeah.
he's going to bully you until he gets to the basket and gets what he wants. But people are saying, like, are they afraid to throw him in the, like, paint? Like, is he afraid to go in there? So, a lot of speculative questions, for sure. But I guess going back to the, you know, is this a collapse or is this a comeback? To me, I hate to be the guy that says it's 50-50, but like, this kind of reminds me of 28-3. Half of it is it was a comeback from a resilient team that said, we can't give up. We're in front of our home crowd. You know, they're here to see something special. We got to give it to them. We're going to chip away. The mentality that the Knicks had going into the second half, I thought, was the best that they could have had, and they executed it perfectly. But for the Spurs, it was terrible decision-making. Just like the Falcons, during that 28-3 collapse, the decision-making that they had in that second half of, you know, we're going to pass the ball instead of running the clock out, I think these 2 games should be a lesson to every sports team where a clock is, you know, a part of it. We're putting baseball aside for right now, but any sport with a clock in it, where if you're in control of a lead and the clock is your friend, let's bleed it. That should be your number one priority, unless somehow the other team is coming back even with you having good clock management. So I think this is like going to be a lesson for many basketball teams at every level. Just like 28-3 was a big lesson for every football team at every level. So, you know, it's just one of those historic moments that it for everyone that was there at MSG, for the New York Knicks fans that are listening to this or have seen it, it's just, you know, congratulations. It was a well-deserved win for them. And it's just something that people will talk about for many, many years to come.
Colin, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I would agree with Joe's point, where definitely got to give the Knicks credit. This is a veteran group that's been around the block before. They've had a couple of playoff trips together, and they've had some really tough losses, like last year to Indiana. That was a tough blow for them, where it seemed like they had that clear trip to the finals. So they've been around the block before, and this is the time that they're breaking through. The Spurs, obviously a young team that hasn't been here before, so maybe they were just phased a little bit by this moment, which is kind of crazy to say considering they had a 29-point lead. But I think they have some things to learn from, and obviously some not great coaching decisions by them. And we saw their vulnerability a lot in the second half. So I would agree with Joe, where it's you kind of have to consider both sides of the argument.
And good points there, but now we're just going to transition over to the other final. We have the Stanley Cup final. Both teams, Carolina and Vegas, 2-2. And guys, this is already being dubbed as one of the best Stanley Cup finals in possibly ever. As we've seen multiple comebacks. I remember watching Game 3's comeback that Carolina almost, Game 4, Game 4, where that comeback almost was complete before Vegas finally won in overtime number 2. And then Carolina even taking Game 4, and now it's 2-2. So just kind of your thoughts on that series so far.
I mean, it's definitely a fun series. Like, I mean, how many goals have we seen so far? I mean, Carolina has 17 goals in the series, and Vegas has 16.
It's Connor Hart. I saw a graphic. He's the only starting goaltender to allow 4 goals in the first 4 games. Like, it's unbelievable.
Right. And I'm not going to lie, I'm not going to blame Carter Hart, because I'll be honest, like, Vegas' defense, like, they are not standing tall by the net. They are leaving him isolated. Like, they are literally, like, it's target practice. Like, you know, like they're not really playing like the best defense, and that goes for Carolina as well. Like, finally, I thought Jacob Slavin actually looked pretty good in the final minutes of Game 4, where he actually looked comfortable. Like, he looked like he was meant to be there. But like, I got to give Carolina their credit. Because Jordan Stahl, I believe, he's got a goal in each game, and that's tied for the record in the expansion era with 4. So I'm excited to see where he's going, because he's playing very consistent, you know, finding the back of the net, giving Carolina chances, which every single game, I swear, Carolina scores in the first minute or two. Every single game. And that, you know, that comes with, you know, all the, like, well, okay. Well, let's say this, right? How I don't know how many goals Carolina has on a power play this series, but it's more than it should. And that's because Vegas, you know, when they are very physical. Obviously, they got out of a physical series against Colorado. They're just making too many mistakes. Like, these penalties are so avoidable. The too many men on ice that they keep calling every single time they get a fast break. The amount of goals that they've gotten called back because of an offside. It's like there are so many things that Vegas can avoid. But, I mean, I'm glad to see Carolina tied it up, because even though I did say Vegas in 6, I do want Carolina to win. I have a soft spot for Carolina, so I'm kind of hoping they pull it out.
I could throw even delay of game penalties were called quite a bit in the last couple, been very key momentum shifters. I know for Carolina that was a big one, and then even Vegas too, even though in Game 4 there was those 2 back-to-back penalties that were delay of games for both teams, which was really huge. But eventually, obviously, Vegas going through. And then Mitch Marner also having a tremendous... I know Joe was all about Mitch Marner in the first episode, talking about him with the Maple Leafs. Was he the problem? Was Toronto the problem? But Mitch Marner, he's on pace, I think. Saw someone said he's on pace to break McDavid's playoff point record.
Yeah. I mean, he's leading the entire playoffs in points, and he's just been doing so good. And like that one time he got like a hat trick and just really showed off exactly why he's really good. I definitely think Toronto was the problem there. Obviously, you have a player like Mitch Marner, like super talented, but the I'm so happy for him specifically, because he was always so good in the regular season, but for 9 years in Toronto, the script was always, okay, so how is Mitch Marner going to choke this time? Because he's on pace to get almost as much points as he had in 9 years with Toronto in one season in the playoffs with the Vegas Golden Knights. So he's just been playing phenomenally. I think just that change of culture has been so good for him. But this has been an epic series. It really has been 2 heavyweight fighters going back and forth, back and forth. To answer your question, Steve, the Hurricanes are 4 for 11 on the power play in the Stanley Cup Final. So that's a 36% success rate. So taking advantage of mistakes that Vegas is making. But Vegas is a resilient group. We talked about the Knicks being a resilient group in the NBA. Vegas is that veteran team. This is the first time Carolina has been to a Cup Final in 20 years. Yes, they've been a team for the past 8 seasons or so that have been in the playoff picture and always in the running for a cup, but they always come up short. There's always a point where they run out of gas, but finally they make it to this series. And we're seeing their talent firsthand. I mean, 17 goals in this series. They score within the first 5 minutes every time because they're high-flying offense, just like the Canadiens were in the Eastern Conference Final, but they were the faster team, Carolina was. And right now, it's a mix of veteran players, but also younger players and great trade deals as well. Ehlers is looking phenomenal with the Hurricanes. Happy to see him doing really good after many years in Winnipeg. But, I think this is going to be, as of recording this, tonight is Game 5. So that's Thursday the 11th for those listening in the future. Game 5, this is a pivotal moment. You go 2-2. Now this is the best of 3. It's in Carolina. I think Vegas has to win this game tonight, because if you don't, you're against the ropes. And if you somehow force a Game 7, you're playing in Raleigh in Game 7. And that barn gets loud, and every single one of those fans will come ready to cheer. And we've seen it all playoffs so far, and I'm expecting to see it tonight again as of recording this with Game 5. So this is going to be a pivotal game for both teams, best of 3 from now on. If Carolina wins it too, I think it would be really cool to see Jordan Staal get the trophy. Speaking of Staal, his older brother Eric Staal winning it with the coach Rod Brindamore in 2006. I think that would be a really cool story to see Jordan Staal get to hoist the cup. But it's going to really come down to tonight. I think it's been high scoring in every game that we've seen from both teams. It's really been the offenses that have shined, but I think the winner of this series is going to be whichever goaltender decides to shut down the pipes the first. But between Hart and Anderson, whoever does it first is going to be the winner of this entire series. So it's really, I'm going to be looking for defense the rest of this series. Who's going to step up?
You could really say even Bussy. I think Collins' point maybe going to that. Bussy has been unbelievable coming off the bench. He almost saved Carolina in Game 4. Then he looked really, or Game 3. I keep getting these two confused. Game 3, but then also Game 4, he was unbelievable. Helped them get that win.
I mean, this is the biggest momentum shift of the series, right? Freddie Anderson gets benched in Game 3, gives up 4 goals through 2 periods. They really need a change, and Bussy only gives up the 1 goal. That came in double overtime. It was an own goal, but he played a really solid third period, and Rod Brindamore gives him the start in Game 4. He gets you the win. That was his first career playoff start, which is pretty wild.
Huge.
You get Game 4 of the Cup final when your team needs a win, or else you're going down 3-1, but Brandon Bussy gets the job done. And, I mean, up until this year, hasn't had the most starts in the league. This year was a bit of a revelation for him. Otherwise, he was just kind of sitting over at the dunk in Providence, Rhode Island with the P. Bruins, just kind of holding down the fort over there before he gets the call up to Boston, where he didn't really get to play much at all.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, Jeremy Swayman has been the number 1 guy for Boston. But Brandon Bussy has been, just like I said, a revelation for Carolina. And at this point, I don't think you can go back to Freddie Anderson.
No.
No matter what happens, unless Bussy gives up 6 goals or something like that. But I think he's your guy the rest of the way. Because often when I see teams change goalies multiple times in a series, that really shows a lack of confidence and a lack of continuity. And I think that would really hurt Carolina if they do go back to Freddie Anderson, because Bussy has just played well, going back to the third period in the double overtime game in Game 3, and then getting the win in Game 4.
Yeah, and then, sorry, Joe.
No, I was going to say, it kind of reminds me of like Aiden Hill when he kind of stepped up for the Golden Knights a few years ago, right? He had like nothing really going for him until he started in the playoffs, and we were like, where has this guy been? Like, this guy's the greatest goalie we've ever seen. So it's a really good point. Bussy really doing a good job in between the pipes. So really, I think it could be a really good story if Carolina wins the series with him there. But yeah, it's going to be him against Hart. Whoever is going to be the one that shuts down the crease first, I think is going to win it.
Yeah, I mean, both goaltenders have been really good. I mean, I know we talked about early with this segment, just the offense for both these teams has been outstanding. There's been 4 3+ goals in every single game for both teams. I believe they said it was one of the highest scoring NHL Stanley Cup finals in many, many years. But kind of just want you guys' thoughts kind of going into this game that's happening tonight as we're recording this episode in Game 5. Kind of just your thoughts on what's going forward.
I mean, just kind of like what I mentioned earlier, what we were talking about. I mean, I don't think necessarily, like we said, the goalies really haven't been that bad. They've just been put in some very unfortunate spots where, the defense may have, choked up a little bit too far, allowing more fast breaks. As we've seen a lot of one-on-one goals this series, like a lot of backhands, a lot of crease cranks, just a lot of just kind of like spots where you like watch a goal and you're like, yeah, there was no chance he was saving that. Like he didn't give a there was no breather there. But I kind of want to see more defensive play from these teams. Obviously you have an explosive offense with, Carolina. Vegas also, like Jack Eichel, like slowly is going to get going eventually. Like he's been kind of hasn't been quiet.
This series. No
he
goals
hasn't,
so
right?
far.
I'm not crazy.
He has a few assists so far, but no goals.
Yeah, he's got some points, but he's got he's got a few apples. No goals. Hasn't buried the net yet.
Eichel, though, he can really produce without scoring. He's turned into one of the most well-rounded centermen in the league. I think.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
excluding the top defensive centermen, because I think they're in a league of their own, and that would be Barkov, Keisher, Crosby is just miles and miles above everyone else.
Yeah.
But aside from the few of those top guys, I'd put Eichel up there with anyone.
Yeah.
His two-way play has just been remarkable. Going back to the Four Nations face-off, him in the Olympics with Team USA was incredible.
Yeah, oh my
and
God,
with
beautiful.
Vegas, he's really elevated his two-way game and turned into a really solid option in the face-off circle. His defensive play is great. So he may not be scoring as much as he used to in his earlier days in his career with Buffalo and then the first couple of years with Vegas, but his passing is just incredible. He's racking up the assists. And I feel like that big-time goal from Eichel is coming in games 5 through 7.
Yeah, I think Jack Eichel is going to find the back of the net in this game. I mean, he's due.
Yep.
Vegas' offense is way more.
Way overdue. I agree,
Yeah.
Steve.
He's only got
Like,
2 goals
their
this
offense is so
playoffs.
much better. Like, there's more opportunities when Eichel's actually scoring the puck. You know, now we got to watch out for Eichel, but like now it's like, all right, Mitch Marner's their guy. You know, Marner's the one who's actually keeping them in this game. But like eventually, Eichel's gonna find the back of the net. But it's only a matter of time because obviously that's their game plan is Carolina. They got to shut down Eichel. You know, you shut down Eichel, you're giving yourselves more opportunities because now it's like, oh, they're out of the loop. The rotations aren't as the same. You know, maybe a sub on is way slower than what it used to be, where you used to have a guy that's right off the bench, you know, flipping right onto the ice. It's not there no more. Like, it's just how it goes. There's little tiny things in hockey that just kind of like have such a big impact. But something that I'm kind of interested to see, right? So if you think about it, so I'm pretty sure, I might be wrong on this, but I'm pretty sure the team that has scored first, other than Game 4, has lost. Which because I know in
not
games 1 and 2,
so.
I believe that's the
in
case,
games
but I
1
don't
and
know.
2, in games 1 and 2, there were 2-0 leads that got blown by both teams.
Yep.
Yes.
And then in Game 3, I believe Carolina scored, and then Vegas rattled off like 4 straight.
I think
No,
game
game
3
3, it was
was the
Vegas.
only one they were trailed because they
Vegas
were
did
down
score
4-0.
first?
Yeah, Vegas went up
Vegas
4-0.
did score.
And then
Yes,
Carolina
you're right.
had that.
You're right. Then Carolina scored.
3
Yes, they
goals
scored
in
3
39
and 39.
seconds. Just
Yes, they
unbelievable.
scored 3 and
Waved
39.
off.
Yeah. They did. They scored 2 and 39. Okay, so that's out the window. But you get the
But
point.
no, to your point though, Steve, having a lead doesn't really matter.
It doesn't really mean anything,
It
yeah.
doesn't hold a lot of weight in this series because we've seen teams come back from 2-goal deficits,
Yep.
4-goal deficits.
Yeah.
So even if you jump out to an early lead or have a lead late in the second or the third period, it doesn't mean anything until that clock hits triple zeros. So it's definitely something to monitor here as we get late in the series.
And then we also talk about Jack Eichel not scoring. Where's Sebastian Aho been? Where's he been?
Absolutely.
Where's he been?
ghost.
He's a Casper on the ice. Where is he?
He is.
I mean,
He's due
and-
as
and
well.
The thing,
Big moment.
The thing
He's
with
due.
Carolina, is they don't have a superstar. They
No.
have a lot of very good players like
Sure.
Aho, Jarvis, Slavin, just a few, but they don't have a Jack Eichel or a Mitch Marner. They don't have that marquee superstar like McDavid, McKinnon, Matthews, like the other two on Vegas. So they're relying on those depth players like Ehlers and later on in the fourth line to really step up and contribute. And that's been the case for the majority of the postseason. But now you need Aho to score. You do. He still hasn't even – he's played all right, but he hasn't really been up to snuff of what we expected from him. And Jarvis is starting to get going. We saw him score the game-winning goal in overtime in Game 2, so at least you have him, who was a 30-goal scorer this year. But Aho is your guy. You really need him to step up. So I do like that point, Steve. Aho needs to get going if you're Carolina.
I mean,
It's the power of
because
friendship.
during the regular season, he was one of those guys we kind of looked at where it's kind of like, oh, you got to put a guy on him. You got to know where he is on the ice at all times. But now it's kind of like, if I had to pick a Conn Smythe for the Carolina right now, it might be Taylor Hall. It might be.
I don't hate that.
Probably,
I don't.
That would probably be my pick.
I think that's a great pick, honestly. He's been so phenomenal all playoffs, and as a former Bruin and a Bruins fan, I absolutely love that he's had this like great run. But to you guys' point, like, was he a superstar like McDavid or McKinnon or something like that? He's not that guy. He's just been doing really well in the playoffs. So it's going to be interesting to see who kind of steps up in that case for Carolina. Where they've just had a really balanced team. That's why they've been so good. They just have a balanced team without really a headliner. But I wouldn't hate that pick at all for the Conn Smythe if Taylor Hall gets it.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like Carolina's like the power of friendship, like the 2015 Atlanta Hawks, just like they all, Paul Millsap, like, is Aho, and then you have all these other guys kind of blending, meshing together, I think you get that but anyway, now we'll go into our third and final topic before we have our trivia game. World Cup is back. The 4-year timeline, it's over, and it's a 3-country host with Canada, Mexico, and the United States, North American hosted World Cup. Second time ever that multiple countries have hosted. Last time it was in 2002 with Japan and South Korea. Argentina is the repeat. They're looking to repeat their World Cup title. Messi and Ronaldo, it's their final rides in the World Cup. Currently, right now, I was looking on DraftKings. It says that Spain and France fall second, are the top 2 favorites to win the World Cup. And kind of just want you guys' thoughts on World Cup. You guys going to be excited for this? How far you think the United States could go? But really, who do you think maybe could win this whole thing?
I mean, I'm just going to say right out the gate, I think I have watched maybe a total of, I've watched more CONCACAF soccer than I have the Prem. And that goes to say something. Did I want to watch the CONCACAF? No. Did my guys want to come hang out and just watch some ball? Sure. So I tagged along. So, but what I will say, Joe, to answer about you at the USA, I did some research before this because I didn't want to sound like a liability up here. But
attaboy, Steve.
Yeah, we're back on the research. Study Steve. That's what they called me back in
Study
Pierce.
Steve.
Dude, Study
Studio Steve. That's what it was. Studio Steve.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Studio Steve.
Let's hear it.
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
So, obviously looking at the United States group, I think they have a very good chance to win it. Only team that I think give us problems is Turkey. Turkey could.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, you like that?
Yeah,
I like
I
that.
do.
Yeah, I do think Turkey comes out on top.
Okay.
Just based on the betting odds, and it seems like Turkey's a lot stronger than the experts are giving them credit for. But I think the U.S. should dispatch Australia. I think they should beat them. I'm excited for the first match against Paraguay because I think that could be a decent test. I hope the U.S. wins it. I could definitely see them not playing as well and playing to like a 1-1 draw or a 2-2 draw. So bookmark that if the U.S. draws for that first game against Paraguay.
U.S. trademark right there.
But I like this U.S. team. I do. I think they learned a lot from their last time around in the World Cup where they drew against England. They beat Iran, I think it was.
Yep.
Beat Iran. They drew against Wales, I think it was, that first game. And then they got kicked around by the Netherlands. But that's fine. And the Netherlands are a very good team. Some are picking them to win the World Cup. They are a dark horse this year. I would not be shocked if they do win the World Cup. I think that's a solid pick if you're looking to get some good odds and want to pick a team in that range. I would go with the Netherlands. But I've been hearing for years that this is the U.S. team that we've been waiting for. This is the golden generation of U.S. soccer. This is finally the time for Christian Pulisic to take over. He's Captain America. They have the supporting cast. They have the goaltending. They have the coach now. They sacked Greg Berhalter, where U.S. soccer fans did not like him, which is funny because he was talking about the U.S. soccer team this morning on ESPN. I thought that was just bizarre. I was like, didn't they fire you recently? Like, how is this relationship
Didn't you
solid?
make this decision that led to this
Yeah,
decision
yeah.
that really made us lose?
But I'm excited to see this U.S. team because all these coaches and experts have been talking about this for years. This is the team. This is the golden generation. They're not going to win the World Cup. We can just say that. They are not going to win it. But can they get out of the group? Can they maybe get a win in the knockout stage? Can they surprise some people? And I would love to see them do it because I've been hearing about this for a while, and I'm buying into this team. I'm ready to ride or die for this U.S. men's soccer team, and I really can't wait to watch their first match.
Yeah, it's truly going to be exciting. Just kind of like looking more at the world rankings as of today. This is The Athletic actually put this out today. So going off of the U.S. men's national team, they were pretty competitive against Germany, who right now is ranked 10th overall. It was a 2-1 loss, but still, I've always known Germany to be one of the best countries in the world for football. So to see the United States be competitive there, I think they have a really good chance to win their group. Like you guys said, Turkey is going to be a tough opponent. And I find it interesting with the conversation that we're having. Turkey is not even listed in the top 20, but the United States is ranked 17th, according to The Athletic here in this top 20. And then obviously the top 3, for those wondering, France is at number 3, Spain at number 2, Argentina at number 1. Obviously with Messi in Argentina, they won the last World Cup 4 years ago against France, which that was an unbelievable final. I'm just remembering that now as we start this tournament. But other than the United States, so I'm excited to watch Scotland play. First time they've been in since 1998, I believe it was. And I don't know about you guys, but I've just enjoyed watching the news here in New England and just seeing so many news segments of Scottish men and women coming all the way across the pond to Logan Airport, and they're just wearing kilts. And they're just so excited. Even if they don't go to the game, they just came to the country to just watch the game, even at a local sports bar or something like that. And I'm like, that's dedication. Like, you don't even if you don't afford the outrageously expensive tickets to go to Boston Stadium, is what they're calling it, for the World Cup. I think that's going to be. I think that's just such a cool thing that they are coming over, and it's super cool. This is a fun sporting event every time it happens. But I'm very excited to see Scotland play for the first time in a while. But really, like you said, Colin, I think this is going to be a really good American team, and I'm excited to see what they do. I think they can make it to the knockout stage. I don't know how far they'll go in that stage, but I think if they could set a bar that, hey, this is something that our team has not done in a very long time, that would be inspirational to so many soccer players, young kids growing up playing soccer here in the United States. I think that's a big opportunity for the game of soccer, football, whatever you want to call it. I think for its future here in the United States, I think that is such a big opportunity.
Yeah, but I think even with those points, I think I really like Colin's point of this is probably the best United States team that has been fielded ever in this tournament's history. And quite frankly, it's funny to see how, not to say funny, but you see how the men's team compares to the women's team's success. The women's team has been historically one of the best in the World Cup, and then the men's team, their best result was a third place finish back yonder before World War II.
Yeah.
So now it's can this team recently in the Olympics picked up the gold medal against the heavy favorite Canada. They were able to break a curse since 1980. Now it's can Christian Pulisic be basically the Jack Hughes and lead this team to a top 3 podium finish? If they could, that's huge success. But like Colin mentioned, they got thrashed by the Netherlands, but that's expected because the Netherlands always is a perennial dark horse team to win the World Cup. Historically have been amazing, but if the U.S. can get out of the knockout stage and they can win one game and move on into the tournament, I think that's a huge success and really opens the eyes to American players and also just the scouting and development that we want to be the best team in the world. We want to be the best. And just that point, yeah,
Yeah, I think just one win in the knockout stage would be huge.
Against
like you
a
said,
good
Joe.
opponent, too, yeah.
Exactly. I mean, I'm not expecting this team to go that far, but just getting that one win against, like you said, Joe, a pretty good opponent, I think would go a long way for U.S. soccer because, I mean, this is a sport in this country where it's not as popular as the basketball, baseball, football, even hockey. It's fifth tier at best. So it's a really tough sport to build a team that is very competitive in the World Cup. You've got kids from Argentina who are, dribbling a ball around right out of the womb, basically, and France is the same way, and Spain and all these countries. So the U.S. has been, it feels like 20 steps, if not more, behind than all these countries for decades. But now they have a very competitive team, I think a hungry team, an eager team. I think they've got the right direction. I think they're going to surprise some people, hopefully, and helps to have that home field advantage as well.
Definitely, for
Yeah,
sure.
I've heard enough. Christian Pulisic is going to get a header, chip his tooth in the golden goal extra minutes for USA wins. That's my prediction.
That would be awesome.
That's my
Over-
prediction.
Okay, if that's happening, what team are they beating is the question.
I didn't get that far.
I'll say Italy.
Fortunately,
I'm gonna
Italy
say-
is not in the tournament.
Yeah, I was saying-
I was going to say they're not in the
Yeah,
World Cup this
I
year.
even knew that.
I wish. Joe, trust me, as an Italian American who loves drinking coffee and enjoys all the Italian delicacies and everything, I wish they were in this tournament. It hurts my heart. But for me, I really think a really wishy-washy. I really hope the U.S. can do really well and stun the world, literally the world, and win the World Cup. But if not, I really think Spain has a really good shot. I don't know they're the favorites, but Yamin Lamal, he's been unbelievable. Was the Ballon d'Or runner-up 2025. I think he leads the charge, really shows off his quality and his class. Spain wins the World Cup.
Not when Christian Pulisic chips his tooth.
USA all the way.
Alrighty, but so I think that wraps it up. But it's time for our favorite part of the episode. You guys know what it is. Nico Collins, don't look. Joe, let's be ready.
I'm ready.
As we go to trivia. So here we go. I got two players for you. I got an MLB player and an NFL player.
Okay.
Ooh.
We're going to start with MLB because I think this one would be kind of fun to do. So I think as it should go, Joe, I know you struggled last episode, so I will let you go first here. And then I'll go Colin and then Steve. Since Steve, you hosted last, figure it's fair. Just
Yeah,
go
no,
with
I
the
get
caboose.
it.
All right, Joe.
Yeah.
It's all you to start this off. It's an MLB player.
Okay. Let's see. Go with Christian Yelich.
Are you serious?
No way.
There's
I got
no
that.
way.
There's no way I got that first try.
Joe got that right
No way.
off the bat.
You didn't have to cut me off.
All right,
No
that's
pun
redemption
intended, but
for
that
last
is
episode.
unbelievable. Wow. Joe, that is
So you're telling me
big
this guy
5
couldn't
points.
name Nico Collins, knows the Franklin Pierce slogan in Latin, and also got Yelich first try.
Yeah, that's unbelievable.
This is a whole new Joe, dude.
There's a method to the madness, Steve, I swear.
That's
Joe's
unbelievable.
prime might need to be studied.
Comeback player of the week, Joe McLaughlin.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for real. Oh my goodness. But with
He's
that,
entering his
Joe,
prime.
that's unbelievable. But Joe gets 5 points there. So Joe, you have a 2-point lead over Colin at the moment.
Ooh.
Steve, you are at third. You trail by 4.
I'm trailing.
You're by Colin. You're by 4. Colin's in second right now. So Colin, it's now an NFL player. This is for the win. It's an NFL player. Colin, it's all yours.
Okay. Well, a lot of pressure after Joe got it.
Yeah, that's.
First-
No,
I
no
wasn't
pressure.
expecting
No
that.
pressure.
Christian Yelich.
I wasn't expecting that.
No pressure.
Alrighty. Yeah, NFL player. All right. I'm going to go with Jonathan Taylor.
Jonathan Taylor. Okay. So I will give you that it is in the correct conference. It's the wrong division. and it's not an offensive player.
Oh, that just put me in for a loop.
So you got the right conference. He's an AFC football player.
Okay.
We'll say also you got the wrong division as well.
Do we get a number?
It is lower than Jonathan Taylor's number.
Lower than Jonathan Taylor.
So that's
okay.
28, I believe, right? 28.
Yes, so
Yes,
it's lower
it
than
is.
28.
Yep. Oh, that's always messed up when it's a defensive player and it's lower than 28. So
I know.
that basically eliminates like majority of like D tackles. Oh
Well,
boy!
it's your call, Steve. It's your guess now.
Wow, I don't like this side of the game, man. Too much pressure. Defense, and it was the wrong division, huh? I'm gonna say Donzo.
So we're still in the AFC, correct? But wrong division,
Yeah,
wrong position, and the number is higher than 0.
yeah.
Okay.
Don't want to give too much info, you know. Gotta.
But I mean, hey, that's a good baseline. We know
Yeah.
0 is
Yeah.
only up from
0
here.
to
you know?
28.
Yeah. In case you were thinking of any
Defensive
negatives
player.
out there.
All right, then we're back to the leadoff man and Joe, who is 1 for 1 right now. Unbelievable. He now has a 2-point lead over Colin, then followed by Steve.
All right, so it's either AFC North defensive player and AFC West. I'm going to go with our friend Colin. His Denver Broncos give me Nick Benito.
Ooh.
It's a good shout.
Well, he's got the right position, I would say. But
Ooh.
wrong division.
Okay.
And then what number is Nick Benito again? I forget.
15.
15.
15. It's lower than 15.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay. I was gonna go with Sertan. I was
Yeah, I
pretty
was
certain
too.
it was
on-
him, but okay. So we know it's got to be in the AFC North, then, correct? Right? Because we already guessed the other 3.
Could very well be.
Okay, and it is higher or lower than 15 again?
It's lower than 15.
Lower than 15. Okay.
Ooh.
hmm.
No, I thought I knew it. I don't.
The numbers are just that I just don't know the numbers that well. That's the thing.
Yeah. It's lower than 15. And it's a linebacker? Oh, wait, no. Oh, I'm so dumb.
Sounds like Steve might be
don't know-
onto
I just
something.
don't
No,
know-
I don't. No,
I
no, no,
don't-
no, no. I don't know it. I just called Benito a linebacker.
Okay. I'm in between 2, so I'll go with one that I think I know his number. I think he's this number, but I'll go with I think he's a linebacker. I'll go with Patrick Queen.
It is not Patrick Queen. It's the wrong team.
Okay.
But you are pretty much Patrick Queen's number
6?
6.
6, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
so
I think
it's higher
6.
than 6. It's higher than
Higher
6.
than so in between 6 and 15.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That eliminates the Queens on the Steelers. So it eliminates the Steelers.
Yeah. Oh man.
But we're in the right area here. We're in the
We're
AFC
getting there,
North.
boys. We're getting there.
Yeah. See, I'm just using context clues because I used a Raven last time. I don't think Jonah used a Raven at all. So
You never know.
don't play mind games with me. Don't do that.
I'm just trying to dramatize this more, make it a little more interesting. Get Steve misguessing, misdirect, you know.
Oh, unless you're also doing that. You know what? I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to say, I don't know what number he is now, but I know he is now a Raven. I'm just going to say Trey Hendrickson.
It is not Trey Hendrickson.
Yeah, that was a reach, huh?
So, Joe, this is a chance for you to clinch this win here in
Oof.
trivia.
Man. See, the thing is, it's because, well, Benito was the right position. And he's a linebacker, but he's also an edge rusher. So I'm trying to
Yeah,
think,
that's the
like,
tricky part.
is it like, I'm trying to think of like what exactly is the player. Are they like because the one name that came to my mind, I know is more of an edge rusher, so I'm going to say the edge rusher here. But this is going to be a little bit of a stretch because he recently joined an AFC North team, very recently, and his number is number 8. Could I have Jared Verse on the Cleveland Browns?
I think that
Ding,
yeah.
ding, ding, ding,
Yeah.
ding.
Yeah.
That was
Joe
the other one I was thinking
Is
of.
No.
2 for 2
I knew
in
it was someone that
trivia.
was not on that team originally. I just went for the older one.
It is.
That
I
hurts.
do admit that was a little misleading with Benito position. I will agree with that. I
Okay.
think that was a little on my part, so my fault.
It's all right.
But Joe, I'm glad you picked up on the edge portion of Nick Benito's game. But yes, AFC North, Browns, defensive end.
Okay.
Now wearing number 8, V8, as he's been nicknamed by the Cleveland Browns.
V8.
Very cool nickname, I believe.
I was wondering if you were gonna go there. I'm like, that's a very tricky one because he just joined the Browns. Because like that's a very, that's
a good move.
That's a very
Smart.
like very specific poll. I'm like, I might as well shoot it out. I wasn't expecting to get it, to be honest with you. But at the very least, it could have narrowed down between the Browns and the Bengals. But I'm glad it wasn't linebacker because I'm like, I don't think I can name the Browns linebacker core or the Bengals linebacker core off the top of my head. So
I definitely wanted to include some, because we talked about obviously Myles Garrett in the first episode. So I was thinking it'd be funny to kind of play this in now because he just got his new number. Obviously, Dylan Gabriel's now wearing number 6. So
Just straight up stole it.
yeah.
pretty much. Yeah.
So I felt like it'd be funny, but wow, Christian Yelich though, I felt like I picked a player who I think maybe could have taken
No, that
like 4
was
turns to
wild.
maybe get someone who's not obscure, someone who's not super obvious like Mike Trout or something like that. But
Yeah.
wow,
No, that was
Christian
good.
Yelich, great
I don't know
guess.
what it was. I literally just in the back of my mind was like Christian Yelich. like there was just a voice in my brain that was like, say it. I'm like, okay, I guess I will, and it paid off.
Someone
is
slapping a
awesome.
trash can behind you.
Yeah, sign stealing over here, maybe not. But no, I'm surprised I got that, to be honest. But
Yeah,
hey,
that's awesome.
I get maybe I just read your mind. We'll never
Maybe
know. We'll
who
never
knows?
know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe you saw my paper that briefly. Maybe you saw it, but I don't know.
Yeah.
But so congratulations to Joe who wins trivia. So he will be now host of episode 3 of the Press Box Quartet podcast. Joe, congratulations. Well done. Redemption after the atrocious start with
Yeah, that
Nico
was-
Collins. I mean,
To the Texans fans, I'd like to formally apologize for forgetting the existence of Nico Collins. If you wanted to ever buy me a Nico Collins jersey so I should wear it for an extended period of time so I never forget him ever again, feel free to do that, even though I'm not a Texans fan. But feels good to get the redemption today. Yeah, it's been fun.
awesome. We thank you all for listening to this episode 2 of the Press Box Quartet. On behalf of Joe, Colin, and Steve, thank you all for listening, and hope to see you soon for episode 3 as Mr. Joe. He'll be the host as he redeems himself here in trivia. As we thank you all
Follow us
once
on
again.
Instagram too, if you haven't already.
Yes.
Colin, plug that in 'cause you know right off the top of your head.
Pressbox _ Quartet on Instagram, all lowercase. Give us a follow of all of our social media content on there.
And once again, thank you all for listening, and till next time, have a good day, good afternoon, good week, whatever it is. Thank you all.